Alabama wins again, but was Kansas State's win even bigger? With a look at this week's UPS Team Performance Index, I'm Tom Vandervoort. Now, the TPI gives us a new way to rate and compare college football teams using statistical analysis. First, a separate index is developed for offense, defense, special teams, and miscues. Add those together with winning percentage, and you get an overall index for total team performance. 100 is average, 200 is perfect. Alabama is number one in the polls again this week, and they're going to stay there unless and until they lose. But over on the Team Performance Index, things aren't quite so clear. There, the Crimson Tide has been running neck and neck with Kansas State, and this week, the Wildcats took over the top spot after a signature 55-14 win at West Virginia, dropping Alabama to number 2 despite their win over Tennessee. A closer look at the TPI shows us why, as Kansas State indexes ahead of Alabama in 3 of 4 categories. K-State ranks 7th in the index for offense. Alabama is 10th. The Special Teams Index has Kansas State in 2nd, Alabama in 32nd. The Miscues Index is another win for the Wildcats as they are 5th to Alabama's 8th. Now we know defense is Alabama's signature, and they are number 1 in the nation on the TPI, with Kansas State down in 28th. Now the upcoming schedule for the Crimson Tide looks to be a challenge too. First, they face undefeated Mississippi State, the 3rd-ranked team in the TPI, this Saturday in Tuscaloosa. And then they've got dates with LSU and Texas A&M. K-State's date with Texas Tech is certainly no gimme, but it will be very interesting to see where these two teams end up next week. The biggest risers on this week's TPI were Wake Forest, Arizona, and Oklahoma. Now the Sooners, whose only loss this season was to Kansas State, rose 16 spots to number 7 in the TPI. They play undefeated Notre Dame on Saturday, and even though they rank behind the Irish in the polls, the Team Performance Index says the Sooners are slightly better. And you've got a feel for South Carolina, which was the TPI's biggest faller this week, dropping 21 spots to 31st after that devastating loss to Florida. Just a couple weeks ago, South Carolina was undefeated at number 5 in the TPI, but things have certainly changed for the Gamecocks, and not for the better. I'll be back next week with more numbers for the UPS Team Performance Index. I'm Tom Vandervoort.